What is going on, guys? It's Modded Warfare here. Welcome back to another PS5 update. So things have really been heating up in the PS5 jailbreak news recently. Been quite a few developments since my last video where I covered the disclosure of the remote kernel heap overflow vulnerability from MoonBSD on HackerOne, which I did express some concern at the time that, judging by the way that this vulnerability needs to be accessed, that it may be quite difficult to actually use this to create a jailbreak for the PS5. So nothing's come of that as of yet. However, there has been a few more developments since then that I want to cover here, starting with the most immediate one here being what's going on with this hardware.io conference. So there is basically a hacking conference going on today and tomorrow, the 9th of June to the 10th of June, and TheFlow is going to be doing a talk at this conference. So of course, TheFlow is the person that essentially resulted in us getting the 6.72, 7.02 and 7.55 jailbreaks through disclosures on HackerOne that, of course, Slayers Garvey actually implemented to get us the full jailbreak, but it was TheFlow who essentially brought that to the forefront so that we could essentially get a jailbreak on those firmwares. And of course, he's also done things like exploiting the PS Vita in the past. So yeah, very, very smart guy. He is a information security engineer at Google. And of course, TheFlow also successfully jailbroke the PS5 privately and said that he had no plans to actually disclose any information on how the jailbreak was done at the time. So we might be getting more disclosure here. So the conference is taking place from the 9th to the 10th of June. And it would appear that TheFlow is talking on the second day of the conference, so the 10th of June, as you can see right here. But of course, it seems pretty much confirmed at this point that he is going to be talking about the PS5 jailbreak that he did. Now, the reason why we think this, obviously he is a Google engineer, so he could be talking about a number of different things, but it does appear that he is going to be talking about the PS5 here, because if you look down here, the actual Twitter account of this convention tweeted this out saying, well, most of you got it right, quite a few close to what's going to happen at Andy's talk. For sure, it's going to be an exciting discovery. And you can see here, he's retweeted this tweet here, where this guy said, "Hi, TheFlow was fun, see you soon at the conference," and tweeted out a picture of the PlayStation 5. So pretty much confirmed at this point, not to mention the fact that when you actually look at the kind of bio of TheFlow, who's going to be talking at this conference, it specifically talks about the PlayStation. So as you can see here, it says he's an information security engineer at Google focusing on cloud vulnerability research, and he has been hacking PlayStation consoles since 16 years old and has released multiple jailbreaks for the PS Vita and published multiple kernel vulnerabilities for the PS4/FreeBSD. So yeah, I'd be very surprised if he wasn't primarily talking about the PS5 at this conference. So of course, a lot of people are wondering how much information may be disclosed here. And of course, we don't know at this stage. We don't know if he has permission from Sony or if he's allowed to go into any kind of real detail on this, or if he's just going to essentially show the PlayStation running jailbroken, which would be still interesting to see. Hopefully, at the very least, he may drop a few hints on how he was able to exploit the PS5, maybe some hints that other hackers in this field could potentially use to, get further on in successfully jailbreaking the PS5 themselves. So yeah, that'll be very interesting to see where this goes. I'm definitely looking forward to find out about this. Now, as far as I'm aware, this talk is not going to be live streamed. It is an in-person event. However, as you can see here, it will be recorded and uploaded to their YouTube channel after the conference. So once the conference ends, we should get the talk uploaded to their channel. So that'll either be probably in the evening sometime on the 10th of June, maybe the 11th. We'll get to actually see it, unless of course there's people recording it on their smartphones during the conference, who knows. But yeah, that's when we can hopefully expect to see this. So obviously, best case scenario is that he basically lays out step by step how he successfully jailbroke the PS5, which would be great. Seems unlikely, but at least if he drops a few hints, it could be useful for other developers or other hackers to figure out how to do it, or get closer to achieving it, which would definitely be, a worthwhile outcome from this talk. Or of course, even if he just shows the PS5 jailbroken and maybe he's managed to do some interesting things with it, then that would also be interesting to see. So yeah, definitely looking forward to see what comes out of that. So a few other older developments that I haven't covered yet that I want to go over. So essentially a few weeks back, we got psxdev and control execute successfully managing to dump modules and parts of the file system from the PS5. Now this is done using just the WebKit exploit on its own. It's got nothing to do with any kernel exploit, because this has been done before on the PS4 as well, way back in like 2017 or 16 or something. Back when it was 1.76 was the latest jailbreak, there were people who had a WebKit exploit for like 3.50 or something, and they were able to successfully access the file system of the PS4 just with the WebKit exploit with no kernel exploit involved. So it seems to be the same thing going on here. But yeah, and this has been improved upon. First, they were only able to dump a few modules, and then they were able to dump a lot more modules from the file system as time went on. So that was successful. They were also able to, unpack those modules, and they're mono DLLs as well, which essentially allows you to open them in something like dnspy or ilspy or .NET Reflector or something, which can essentially allow you to access the source code of these modules as well. So we essentially have the source code for all of these different PS5 modules, which could definitely help in aiding development of homebrew and other factors in the future once we actually have a PS5 jailbreak available. Not to mention, we also have Flats releasing a IDA plugin that can now allow you to load .elf files and .prx files from the PS5. So PS5 executable files can be loaded into IDA. So if you don't know what IDA is, it's basically an interactive disassembler which allows you to take compiled executables, like for the PS5 in this case, and disassemble them into their kind of assembly code, which you can then use to kind of reverse engineer it to figure out how certain functions work inside the executable. So for example, you can see, what parameters are passed into a particular function, how many parameters, what kind of calculations been done to those parameters in the function, and then how it's been outputted. And once you know how these functions work, you can then, potentially hijack those functions in a payload or something by hooking those functions and making them do different things, or, using them to your own benefits. So very, very useful once we actually have a jailbreak. But obviously we don't have a jailbreak yet, but this is all stuff that will be very useful once a jailbreak actually comes out. And of course, another thing is that we also have the registry key entries as well, all provided here from the PS5 on PlayStation Dev Wiki. So yeah, things are definitely falling into place. Yeah, very, very exciting where things are going. I do feel like we're kind of on the precipice now of a PS5 jailbreak releasing. All of these pieces are slotting into place now. So it definitely feels like it's coming sooner rather than later. But I've said that before, and here we are months later. So we'll see where it goes. And of course, I'll probably do a follow-up video once this talk has concluded with TheFlow. If there's any, information that was dropped that was significant, then I'll do a follow-up video for you guys. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it or found the information useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys once again in the next video.